This channel is dedicated to helping IT leaders make great business decisions. Today's video is going to step outside the traditional IT conversations, but provide some insight into an opportunity that IT can bring to other business leaders in the organization. I believe that IT must be a change agent. Here's a great opportunity. Hi, I'm Steve Murphy. I'm a vice president at ARG, and while I work for ARG, this video is my own and does not represent the views or opinions of my employer. IT leaders must not only be great technologists, but great business people. And great business people are always looking for a way to add value. My company consults around various technology stacks, but we've been getting a ton of interest in a non-technical solution: fractional call center labor. Give me a minute to describe what's happening. In the United States, the pandemic has disrupted many industries, and the contact center industry has been severely impacted. Organizations that run traditional call centers are turning to IT to help automate processes, not just to become more efficient for efficiency's sake, but to become more efficient because they can't staff at the same levels they could pre-pandemic. As the economy is opening up, a major trend is developing. Finding new contact center staff and keeping the ones you can find is becoming more and more difficult. I won't go into speculating on why, but the reality is your contact center is understaffed and management is spending too much time trying to acquire and keep staff, rather than working on strategic initiatives. Give them a call or send them an email and ask what their staffing challenges are. I'll bet you get an earful. A large part of our consulting practice revolves around moving clients to modern cloud-based contact center technology. We're also building a good business around client experience enablers, such as leveraging automation to handle basic tasks and AI tools to help guide agents through conversations. Keep in mind that we provide our consultations for free, and there's never a charge for our technology evaluations and recommendations. If you're interested, my contact information is in the description of this video. But back to the content. These consulting arrangements frequently get to a core problem. Our clients want better technology because they can't hire and retain contact center staff. Fortunately, we have an immediate solution to that problem while we work on the longer-term technologies: flexible shift staffing. It's a brilliant model that not only provides needed staffing within a few weeks, but does so less expensively than most companies can staff on their own. Let me explain. Generally, an understaffed contact center is only truly understaffed during peak times. Let's say those peak times are first thing in the morning and during the lunch hour. During those peak times, average hold times increase and become excessively long. Callers hang up, which drives up the abandonment rate. And contacts that do get through get poor service because staff is rushing through the call so they can get to the next contact that's been waiting. To address these issues, management has to hire more staff to take the peak volume calls. A typical contact center shift is about 8 hours, and you have to provide those 8-hour shifts to retain staff. But that means that you have a staffing level to address the peak, and that leaves staff idle during non-peak times. You can only fill that downtime with so much training and coaching, so occupancy rates or the time callers actually spend it with a contact go down. Further, because you get a certain percentage of call-outs or no-shows every day, the contact center managers have to overschedule. This is like airlines overbooking a flight, hoping that a few people no-show. On average, this works. Everything is fine if you get a few no-shows because you plan for it. But if everyone shows up, the flight is overbooked or the contact center is overstaffed. You either have to send some people home, frustrating them, or you're paying for unnecessary labor, further lowering your occupancy rate. The last big issue we hear is the early attrition rate of new hires. You spend a lot of money recruiting staff, then you onboard them, train them, and put them on the center floor where they are less productive as they work through the learning curve. 2 weeks later, half your new staff has quit. Half your investment just walked out the door. This is not just a financial cost, but a human and strategic opportunity cost for the business. Now, as a business leader, here's what you can do to assist. Introducing a fractional shift concept to your contact center, managers might garner some significant interest. We've certainly seen it from our clients. Fractional shift labor models focus on staffing those peak times that are so difficult to manage. We're not talking about outsourcing your contact center, just providing resources for those critical time blocks when more bodies are needed. What if you could provide the organization with 100 additional agents for 2 hours a day during those peak times? Just filling the peak contact center needs will probably solve the center's major hiring needs. Here's how it works. So borrowing from the gig economy model, fractional shift companies have a deep pool of potential workers for your company. The primary one we work with has over 1 million people in their pool. The labor partner will recruit, train and manage the staffing for your necessary shifts. If you need 10 agents, 2 hours a day, for example, they'll train 40 people in their pool. They will then offer the shifts to this trained pool until they've staffed your need. If someone no-shows for a shift, they can quickly fill that vacancy by texting the opportunity to work to other members of the trained pool. If a worker repeatedly misses a shift, they're not offered new work for your organization. These fractional shift workers are held to the same quality metrics as your core staff. They're providing the same training and develop similar core competencies as your internal team as they travel through the same learning curve. Your contact center management team gets to breathe and focus on more strategic outcomes, such as increasing take rates on offers, improving satisfaction scores, or working on those automation projects with the IT team. So fractional shift vendors can solve your staffing shortage, but isn't it more expensive? Actually, no. Our modeling shows that the fractional shift model is less expensive than your team's insourcing model. There are a couple key drivers involved. First, there's a fixed monthly fee from the fractional labor vendor. This is a known fixed cost. After the fixed cost, you only pay for the time an agent is logged in and taking calls. This drives a very high occupancy rate. You don't pay for breaks, training, recruiting, etc. Those factors plus the other overhead is usually 50% of the cost of a contact center agent. Essentially, you get a super efficient agent for just the time frame you need. Then they leave your account and go work for someone else, take care of the kids, or whatever they do until they have another few hour shift for your company. This is one of the employment models that will become commonplace in the new economy. People working when they have time in small increments that fit their and their employer's schedule. So IT leaders, check with your contact center peers to see if staffing is a challenge. If it is, you can score some points by suggesting this novel approach. If you want to learn more before you have that conversation, feel free to reach out to me and discuss further. My contact information is in the description of this video. If you got some value out of this video, I'd appreciate a like, a thumbs up below, and thank you very much for doing that. And if you want to find your way back to my channel in the future, the best way of doing that is hitting that subscribe button. That will put my videos in your feed, and you can come back to the channel whenever the mood strikes you. I want to thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.